stream.
Awkward.
Oh, is Edgar done?
No, he's still on. But I mean, Volkov will already come through.
Hi everybody.
Alexander, obviously you had a big win back in October. I'm curious how important that was for you to kind of have that performance and put that Blades fight behind you.
It was really important for me. It was important to win, to get a win streak. I was happy with this, but it just worked. And after the win, I just come back and start my new camp. So I just now don't thinking about my last wins. I'm just thinking about future wins.
I know you had some travel difficulties, right? So what did you do since October? Did you come here? Did you go to Russia? What was your plan?
Since October, I was in Russia all the time. I'm training in Moscow in my own gym. I came to US in maybe 10 days ago. Came through acclimatizations, through everything. Now I'm feeling great and feeling that I will go to win.
Were you hoping to fight in Abu Dhabi? Is that like an easier trip for you and easier acclimation?
I hope so, but I'm professional. It doesn't matter for me where to fight. And anyway, if I remember right, I have just my US visa just to the end of February, so that's a good time to travel to the US and fight here.
That works out perfect. And another main event for you. I'm curious, do you enjoy the attention of being the main event? You know, all the added media and eyes. Do you like that? You strike me as kind of a quiet guy.
I'm used to this. I'm used to understand that I have to do this, but I don't. I don't like all of this, of course, because I'm really a quiet guy, as you see. But I'm trying to do all my job, to answer your questions as I can, to speak English a little bit. Sorry for this; it's terrible, I know. But I do everything. Of course. I like the fact I'm in the main event, because all main events it's a big show, big attention. It's better for me, better for my future and everything. So I'm enjoying this. I'm excited to be on the. To be on the main event with Alistair Overeem, so it's cool.
As far as the matchup with Alistair himself, I mean, I got to think stylistically it's exciting for you, right? I mean, it seems like the perfect matchup for you.
Yes, I think so. I think so. It is. He's a striker as me, but we have a different style of strikers as usual with me, and we'll see how to will go. Maybe somebody of us will try and wrestle or something, but it's looking like a good striking fight.
Is he? I mean, you guys have both fought for so long. Is he a guy that you always thought, like, I'm going to fight him somehow, someday?
I think about it for sure, and now it's happened. So, yes, it
Fair
is.
enough. The last thing for me, what do you feel like is on the line here? I mean, you had the losses, but to top competition. I mean, do you feel like you're in that title discussion, or do you even worry about that right now?
I'm feeling like I'm in, but I don't think about this a lot, because I'm feeling that for sure I will be champion in the future. I'm feeling that just I'm became better and better and going for the belt. So it doesn't matter it happened in this year and next or maybe 2 years. But I'm just going for this, and I'm feeling in myself everything to get it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
This is good, man. This is good. Thank you, sir.
I know you guys are surprised.
Diego, obviously it's been a year since we've had a chance to watch you fight. So let me know, what's this year been like? Has it been frustrating that you didn't get to compete?
2020 was a little bit frustrated for me. I have a lot of plans. Especially because I start my year like real good. Like come with a win over Anthony Pettis, and everything hit me. COVID. After pandemic, I have a plan to have my proper home. Get married. I already married, but get married on the church with my wife. I was planning to do that. Like we kind of have the plan to have another baby. We lost the baby. Things going really well. Like not very well after the pandemic for me. But I still try to get another fight after there. But what 2020 was for me like a trouble year for me. As a really hard year for me. But finally I'm here, and that's what I'm looking for, and I'm happy. I'm super excited, and I can't wait for February 6th.
What was the focus like for you, like professionally as a fighter? Like you say, because you had like arguably the biggest win of your career, right? At least the most high profile, and then all these bad things happen. So I mean, have you been in the gym? Have you been able to train, or was it tough to even do that?
No, between the pandemic, I was not in the gym, but I was trying like really hard to keep my training, especially at home, stay focused, Things sometimes is hard for me, but I can't complain. I just keep like grinding every day of my day. I was in the gym. I have my own gym in South Texas. I was like training every day with my own students, like small group of guys, but I was I could do it, I was not like going to Fortis MMA. Normally that's what I do, I'm driving to Dallas 9 hours, but between that, like I was trying to be in shape. I tried being focused, calling people out, to see if somebody want to fight, especially 155. People really just want to have the big fight money, but things happen for a reason.
Were you upset that it's not Drew Dober, or did that fight even matter? Because you guys were scheduled twice, right? Was that a fight you really wanted, or did it really matter to you?
That really mattered for me, but I really want to fight him because he's a guy coming up too, like especially how many wins and like impressive wins he come with over so many guys, and for me I was just one more fight to get me out there, expose myself a little bit more, but talking about like that fight, I maybe can still want to fight him, like especially in the future after this one. We never know,
So instead, you got this rematch. I mean, is this a rematch that you wanted? I mean, is this a fight that you were hoping to get back at some point?
On a point in my career, not really. I was not even looking to that, But I'm glad to this happening, Like I'm really, excited. Get me more hungry to get there inside the octagon and give it my all. And I'm just, happy to get this one now.
Yeah. Did you go back and watch the first fight at all, or does it even matter at this point in your career? Like, I mean, that was kind of a long time ago, right?
It's a long time ago, We improved, like me and Beneil Dariush, we improved so much, We complete two different fighters now. And I really don't look on there. I know I try watch. My coach try like, you need to watch, Coach Safe, how it is sometimes. But, I try keep it, focus on the fight study, because you need some fight, like look the video, especially rematch. You don't want things happen the same way it happened the last time. And I keep my focus, keep studying, keep like see what I did wrong, what I did right, and try capitalize on those points.
It's kind of interesting, right? Because I feel like you two guys are two of like the most like lack of respect. I don't want to say disrespected, but they don't receive the respect you deserve. Do you feel like that you two guys are kind of in a similar position, that you've had great careers and maybe don't get talked about as those top contenders?
Yeah, I think so too. Sometimes, especially like the way I say, like everybody want to fight just the big money fight, and those like to talk too much, on the vision. But we're down there, we climb ourselves up on the division, and we're gonna show, especially show the people we're not just mediocre fighters. We're high level too, and we have to get there, make impact on the division, and I think we're gonna put a show to people can see we are good fighters too.
Do you ever talk to your wife or talk to coach and say, maybe I need to try this trash talking thing, man? Maybe I need to try that out a little bit.
Yeah, it's something. I was talking to Coach Xavier too with my wife, and she like, no, you bad in that. You're not good in that. You're too respectful. And I understand that. Like I on myself, I want to be a role model for my kids. Like I don't need that to be to boil my blood. To make me hungry for something. I want to be the respectful guy. Show like to achieve your dream, you just need to be hungry mentally, and prepare for yourself as much as you can.
I dig it. Well, last thing for me, as you said, 2020, bad year. Hopefully 2021 will be better. What's the goals this year? Because a win here, I think the fight's going to be exciting either way, right? So a win here, you got this amazing win streak. What's the plan for yourself this year?
I wanna fight at least like three more times this year. I'm really excited. Start my year. I hope again, you start the right way, and put in God's hands, and I hope we get a good matchup after this, and I would have a couple names. I want to just let it go after the fight. My focus right now is 110% on Beneil Dariush.
You mentioned traveling 9 hours to Dallas to train.
Yeah, I do like not every week, but I do like every 2 weeks to go to Forters. It's exactly in Dallas. I live all the way in South Texas, right on the border between Mexico and Texas, and we drive that much. I have some help too, and I drive by myself the majority of the time. I have a group of guys. I have a friend. He always have a time to work with me. Drive all the way to Dallas, 9 hours, stay for 1 day, do what I have to do, train hard, do my sparring section, and 9 hours back to my gym and get back to my work.
You don't do that in 1 day, do you?
I do sometimes. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I do. Like that's what the most thing Coach Safe got mad at me because I do sometimes in 1 day. Like just go on Tuesday morning early. Monday morning early, 9 hours, and after the Tuesday night after the sparring section, I drive right away back. I'm a crazy like that, but I like to be around those people. I have so much a good environment. And they make me so much better. On through there, I have so many guys helping me out to be ready for this fight. And 9 hours. Not 9 hours. It could be 14, almost 18 hours. Driving, but everything have a price. It's not like I the next day I have to relax. No, the next day I'm really back to the gym and work back myself again and try relax a little bit, but not as a hard train for the next day, but a little bit more less. But I'm really back to the gym the next day.
Are you going to invest in one of those Teslas that drives for you, the driverless cars?
Oh, yeah, maybe one day, when I have enough money to buy one of those, for sure it's going to be a helpful right there, Thank you. Tudo bem.
Eu sei que você comentou sobre o assunto, mas eu queria saber exatamente o que muda em relação à sua primeira luta com o Dariush para essa luta agora. São pouco mais de 6 anos, mas onde você melhorou mais, os dois evoluíram, onde você acha que ele evoluiu mais também?
Eu acho que ele evoluiu bastante, né? O meu ponto quando eu lutei com ele, como sempre eu falo agora, eu era só um lutador de jiu-jitsu quando eu entrei no UFC, né? Agora eu sei que eu sou um lutador de MMA. Por quê? Porque eu treino meu wrestling, eu treino meu Muay Thai, eu treino meu boxing, né? Antigamente eu era meu único coach. Eu treinava propriamente meu treino, fazia meu próprio camp. Agora não, eu tenho pessoas atrás de mim me ajudando, como muitos professores, meu professor de wrestling, meu professor de Muay Thai, meu professor de boxing, são as pessoas que agora se focam no meu trabalho. Então, tanto que eu evoluí, provavelmente ele evoluiu também, mas eu acho que eu tenho mais oportunidade, porque eu já vi ele no ranking algumas vezes. Então, essa é a minha chance, né, de mostrar que eu melhorei muito mais.
E especificamente nessa luta, você consegue fazer uma previsão de como você acha que vai terminar a luta?
Eu espero que seja uma trocação franca. Por quê? Porque eu quero mostrar meu trabalho. Eu não quero chegar lá e só ir para a finalização. Então, eu quero trocação, sair na mão com ele. Se for 3 rounds ou se for 2 rounds, para mim tanto faz. Mas eu quero mostrar meu trabalho. Eu quero curtir os 15 minutos que eu tenho dentro do octágono.
Sua última luta foi, você venceu o Pérez, que é o ex-campeão, mas você não luta faz 1 ano. Teve a pandemia, enfim, muitos lutadores conseguiram treinar e se adaptar durante a pandemia. Qual foi a principal dificuldade para você, primeiro, ficar esse tempo afastado, vendo de uma vitória tão importante, adaptação com a pandemia? Você consegue resumir esse período?
Sim, eu consigo. Assim, foi uma dificuldade bem grande para mim, né? Por ter minha família comigo, eu trabalhar na minha própria casa, que eu estava tentando construir minha casa, dar um sonho para minha família, né? Em tudo isso foi difícil de juntar, né? Foi difícil de consolar todo o trabalho, mas eu estava treinando, só que algumas coisas. Assim que eu peguei a primeira luta com o Dober, né, já estava marcada a pandemia. Nós temos a pandemia e foi difícil para mim, né? Aí tudo bem, voltamos a treinar, tudo bem com um grupo de pessoas que eu tinha, um grupo de alunos que eu tenho que sempre me ajudam para tentar ficar mais no treino, focar mais. Aí surgiu a segunda oportunidade. Já estava bem focado, mas aí eu fiquei doente, né? Aí tive que sair da luta. Mas eu sempre estava num foco muito grande para o treino, tentando melhorar bastante, principalmente no meu wrestling e no meu Muay Thai. E eu acho que foi mais dificuldade foi o tempo que eu tive para melhorar, para melhorar quando eu fiquei doente. Então não foi nem muito tanto a oportunidade, né? A oportunidade eu tive, mas só que foi quando muitas coisas aconteceram na minha vida, muitas dificuldades passaram, mas como eu disse assim, 2020 agora está para trás, quero só focar no 2021 e tentar dar meu melhor e buscar essa vitória dia 6.
Última pergunta, então. Você vem de 6 vitórias seguidas, a categoria do peso leve hoje talvez tenha mais visibilidade, né? Khabib, Conor, Chagas, enfim. No meio de tanta gente, tanto tubarão, esse peixe grande, como fazer para conseguir o holofote? Como fazer para se destacar e chegar a uma disputa cinturão, talvez, no dia?
Eu acho que você tem que fazer como você falou, tem que pular no meio dos tubarões, né? Assim, então, é isso que eu estou fazendo, estou chegando na borda ali, comecei um ano bem, mas eu acho que eu vou ter que fazer comer o bolo pelas bordas, né? Devagarzinho, chegando do jeito certo, e eu sei que esse ano é meu ano, e eu quero chegar do jeito certo, eu quero chegar lá e mostrar para o povo brasileiro que eu também tenho chance de chegar no cinturão. Cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Frankie, obviously no stranger to fight week, man. What's fight week like for you these days at this point in your career? I mean, is there still nerves, excitement, energy? What's it like for you?
I mean, there's definitely excitement. Nerves are definitely not as prevalent. I mean, fight after weigh-ins, fight day, you wake up. That's when it starts to show up a little bit.
Yeah, I think about all the the big crowds and the big events that you've been a part of in your life. What did you think of fighting without a crowd? I mean, did it change things for you at all? I mean, everybody says once you get in there, it's still a fight, right? But did it change anything? Is like a sense of energy or anything like that?
Usually people, my fights are somewhat entertaining a lot, and people usually get into it. They usually scream my name. I definitely miss that, but once punches are getting going, it's easier to listen to my coaches. I have really good chemistry with them, so that makes it simpler. But definitely when walking out from the back and hearing nobody, that took me back a little bit. So this time around, I'll be a little more prepared for that.
I was going to ask you, because that seems to me like it'd be the most challenging part, right? Just being sharp early. I imagine like when you walk out of the tunnel of a crowded arena, like if you weren't hyped, you're pretty hyped at that point, right? So is that the biggest challenge?
Yeah, for sure. I think once you're in that cage and you're stuck in there with another dude staring across from you, you get in that moment real quick.
Yeah. So the interesting part about this is everybody's talking about experience, right? I mean, you were in the UFC before this kid was even fighting professionally, but is there value in that? I mean, a fight's a fight, right? Like you never know what's going to happen. The shot lands, But is there value to as much experience as you bring to the table?
Yeah, you can only get experience with time, and I have more of that than anybody. So yeah, it's definitely something that I have in my back pocket, and something that I got to lean on sometimes. The savviness that the veteran has definitely comes to play.
Do you watch kids like this when they're making their way up? I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of guys don't watch a lot of fights when they're not fighting. Do you watch young up and coming kids and look at them as they're rising?
I watch every fight pretty much. So if I'm I got nothing to do on Saturday night, I'm watching fights, and so I'll notice guys, as they come, maybe not paying the most attention to them, but as he works up the ranks, you start paying attention to guys. Yeah.
Did he catch you? I mean, when you watch his fight, do you remember him catching your eye and thinking like, oh, this kid's gonna be somebody I have to face someday? Yeah,
I mean, I was always at a different weight class than him when he was coming up, so sometimes it's tough to scan across 3 weight classes, but as he started coming up, more as of recently, I noticed him now.
Nice. As far as your preparation for this, I mean, prepping for 3 rounds is not something you do very often, right? Did you change anything? Did you back off a little bit to make it easier on yourself, or no?
You just spar less rounds. That's pretty much it. You spar less rounds, but everything else is rather the same.
You talk about kind of the evolution of the sport. I mean, can you evolve as a fighter at this point in your career, or is it kind of, hey, this is who I am, I got to stick to the person that I am?
I think I have evolved, and that's the reason I've been on top for so long. 14 years in this game. If you don't evolve, I would have been left behind. So, I think I am evolving all the time. I'm constantly working on getting better. My coaches don't let me stay complacent, and if you do, you're going to get passed by.
Yeah. Both you guys have said that you feel like this is a #1 contender fight. I mean, are you worried at all that there are any other names that could jump in front, or do you feel like this is a #1 contender fight?
Yeah, I think this is it right here. You never know. I've been in position before, and sometimes you do get passed up, and that's just the way this sport goes. But I can't really worry about the title fight. I got to worry about winning this fight, and then we'll talk about campaigning for it.
Yeah, I know you don't want to look forward to it, but do you have an idea who you think you'll be fighting for that title when you win this fight?
Yeah, I don't know. That's definitely a toss-up fight. I'm leaning Aljo. I think he can get the takedown.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, I know you still got some good years left. Is there a chance we have a little Edgar in the UFC one day, man? What are I hear you got some beasts over there in the house. Are they going to be fighting in the UFC one day?
Yeah, my middle guy, he's wrestles. He's really into it. He loves hitting pads. Well, we'll see. We'll try to keep him back for as long as we can.
You living in New Jersey and being next to one of the centers for the pandemic? How's that affected the training and everything?
It really hasn't affected at all. I have a kind of a small team anyway. If anything, it made it easier. I don't have to go around, go to parties, go to weddings, go to to different obligations. I kind of just go to the gym and go home. So it kind of makes my life easier.
Makes it a lot more focused.
For sure.
So what are you looking at for the year to accomplish? What are you looking to? Are you going to make another title run?
Yeah, that's what we're in the process of doing, and it starts on Saturday night. So yeah, for sure, win here, I think will get me that title shot.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
kind of break, or is there another one?
Michael Johnson's right behind. I don't know who's actually in the building yet, but his car's up.
Who was the second guy? Diego Ferreira.
What's up, guys?
Mike, I was curious if you happen to see that your name came up in the headlines this week in something completely unrelated to your fight. Did you see that?
No, I don't really think I did.
So Ali Abdelaziz used your name out there, and he was talking about Michael Chandler. He said Michael Chandler's no Michael Johnson. He's a good fighter, but he's no Michael Johnson. What do you think when you hear that?
I mean, that's great hearing that. You know what I mean? I still have that that stigma about how good of a fighter I am, and I just need to get my shit together. But he's absolutely right. He's no Michael Johnson.
Can you believe you're starting year number 11 in the UFC right now? I mean, is that crazy? Because I still think about you as the kid that wore the crazy stuff to the weigh-ins and stuff, and now here we are over a decade later, man. What does that feel like for you?
It feels great, man. Being in the top promotion for this long, fighting the quality of guys I fought, and still been around. I mean, you guys know as well as I do. Some people last one fight, some people last two fights, and they're gone, so it's a huge blessing for me to still get that. And I've matured, I've grown up in the sport, and I started my career in the UFC pretty much, and I plan on putting 10 more years under.
That'd be something, man. How do you think? I mean, I know you still want to build, and there's still a lot to do. But how would you categorize your career, right? Like you've had mixed results, but we know when you're fighting, it's going to be a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've been able to stick around because you're incredibly entertaining. So how would you look back on it if you had to summarize it?
It's a little bittersweet. You know what I mean? Like, of course, I'm grateful for all the wins I've had. Grateful for the losses I've had against the great opponents. I've beaten 2 champions that we've seen in this division, and I'm just ready to start climbing. I'm ready to start over brand new. In my mind, it's like, you know what? Yeah, all those fights are great, but let's forget about them. They don't mean anything right now. Like, let's start over. Like, I'm in a new mindset right now. I'm going into this fight in my mind at 0-0, and it's going to be a great start, and I'm looking to build.
You said it right off the bat, like I just got to get my shit together. I mean, what is that? Just like mindset during camp? Is it mindset on the night of the fight? Is it what's the shit that needs to get together?
Yeah, it's generalized. It's everything. I'm finally at the young old age of 34. I'm finally starting to become a man, and what I need to do to become a better man, and just better myself, better my mind, and that's going to help me become a greater fighter. I wasn't living like a professional athlete, these few years. I was out partying and drinking and doing all that shit and losing fights and, going to, certain things I shouldn't have been doing, or winning fights and celebrating a little too long and too much. So I'm finally, growing up, got a new outlook on life, and, it's going to be great coming in. I'm looking forward to the new change.
What was the catalyst? Do you remember like a moment where it just all clicked, like, I got to switch?
Losing 3 fights in a row, that's what it is, especially fights when I was winning. I don't really think I've lost fights, but I've never, gotten my, ass beat. I've always been winning, and I just end up, something slips and goes wrong, and I lose focus, and I'm end up losing, and I'm going to just take that into account that maybe I wasn't fully prepared. It's all mental. Maybe my mentality just wasn't there, and losing to, Thiago Moises, just getting caught in the heel hook when I know how to defend it, and getting knocked out by Josh Emmett with 30 seconds left when I shouldn't have been in that position to get knocked out, and slipping up a little easy decision win over Stevie Ray, getting taken down and just freezing. So, these are the moments where I know how great I am, and I just need to get over that hump, and I think I'm over it.
That's awesome. So you get this matchup with Clay Guida. Does that excite you? I mean, you talk about like a fellow like OG, right? A dude that's been around, done that. I mean, did you like this matchup?
Yeah, I love this matchup, and Clay's a great guy, good fighter. He's a pioneer of the sport, future Hall of Famer. The sport really wouldn't be where it is until guys like Clay, have grown into what it is now. So I'm excited to get in there and get scrapping with him.
If you had to decide between a $50,000 fight of the night loss or a lay and pray, boring 3-round win, but getting that win, which one would you take?
The win, 100%, bro. Especially for me right now, man. A win. My career is on the line right now, and it has been, and I'm accepting that. I'm okay with that because it's just gonna make me fight harder. It's made me change the completely person of who I am, and I like it. But the win's the most important thing for me to get right now, and no matter what, I'm still gonna go out there and fight like the Michael Johnson that fights. You'll never see a boring fight out of me.
I was going to say, last thing for me, I mean, how do you see this fight going? Because I don't see any way this could be a boring fight between you two guys.
Yeah, absolutely not. I'm going to start fast, and we'll see if he'll be able to keep the pace up. I know Clay's a grinder. He likes to really get in your face and push the pace, but I don't think he has that spark anymore that he used to have. He's getting up there in age. He still grinds out in fighters. I just got to not get in bad positions and do my game, and we'll get out of here with a win. All good. Thanks, guys.
Good morning.
Is that whole milk in that coffee?
Oh, yeah.
That's when you know weight cuts up good.
Weight cut, yeah. That's when you know not to make 35.
That's hilarious. You good? Well, Cody, talk about what this kind of stretch has been like for you, right? I know anytime you suffer a setback, you want to get right in there and get it back. Then, you have to withdraw, and then you have a change of opponent and all that. So what's this stretch been like for you?
Honestly, it's been brutal. You know what I mean? Like right after the Jimmy Rivera fight, I got right back in the gym. I wanted to fight as soon as possible just because that was just such an awful performance. And you want to put those behind you as fast as you can in this sport. You don't want to sit on a loss. I hate that. And so literally the first guy that comes up is Merab. And I'm like, oh, God, I got to fight this little monster. Okay, fine, I'll do it. And, I tear my back up. I asked for it to get pushed back a couple weeks. They can't make it happen. And then, lo and behold, he doesn't even end up fighting. We get rescheduled. 2 opponent changes. Now we're here. But, hey, it was worth the wait. I think Askar Askar is the kind of guy that I can have a highlight reel type performance. And I couldn't be more excited. And I don't have to cut weight, I mean, that's the hardest part of the whole game for me. Getting down to the 135-pound dot is hard. It's brutally hard. And not having to do that and, fighting a new guy, I don't get breaks like that. You know what I mean? It's literally hammer after hammer after hammer. It has been since the beginning. I've been, 2-1, 3-1 underdog. And, I was 4 fights in a row where I was an underdog. And now I'm finally getting a fight that I should be a favorite, and it's honestly it's weird. I don't even really know because it's always like I'm going in there and everyone's, you know, thinking that I'm going to lose, and I'm going into a fight, and everyone's like, yeah, I think Cody's going to do pretty well. I'm like, oh, really? Cool. Thanks. Really?
What was I gonna say? I mean, is that I don't want to say difficult at all, but I mean, like, this guy's got everything to gain, right? You know what I mean? He comes in short notice, you know, so what? But you know, he takes you out, and all of a sudden it's like, wow. So I mean, did that,
he's the man, right?
right? So I mean, did that factor into your decision? I mean, did you have to think about that all when they offered up?
No, I verbatim, and I'll show you the text message. I told my manager, I was like, if anyone steps up after Merab got COVID, anyone, I'm saying yes. And then Andre stepped up, and I couldn't remember who he was. Like, I couldn't think of, I'm like, damn, who is that? And so I'm literally at practice asking guys, like, you know, who's Andre Ewell? Like, who is this guy? Like, tall southpaw. I'm like, oh, shit. I was fighting a short wrestler, you know what I mean? Now I'm fighting a tall southpaw boxer. I'm like, all right, who's tall? I need to train with him right now. You know, because this was like right at the 3-week mark. So everything gets switched up, and then it gets switched back. But I was just at a point where I didn't care, you know what I mean? There had been so much work in preparation for Merab that I was at a point where it was like, dude, anybody that was willing to step up and fight me, I'm going to take the fight. I don't care. Stylistically, I don't give a shit what it means.
Did you have a chance to watch any tape? I mean, have you tried to break him down at all, or is it so short notice that you just think, let's just go in there and rock and see what happens?
Yeah, I watched some tape. I got an idea, like, what he likes to do, kind of what his go-to things are. I think the kid, honestly, wins most of his fights wrestling, which I couldn't have painted this better. You know what I mean? Somebody that takes people down, and that's how they win fights. If there's one thing I trust in my MMA game more than anything, it's my wrestling defense and my ability to scramble. So, like, if you can take somebody and be like, okay, what's the best stylistic matchup for you? Orthodox, same height, and the guy likes to wrestle. I'm like, give me that fight every single day. You know, that's why I took the Merab fight. You know, and this is just kind of like a less experienced, less tenacious Merab, if I'm looking at it like plainly.
Yeah, your mindset's obviously sharp right now. I'm just curious kind of what you feel like about where you stand in your career, right? Like you said, you fought nothing but killers. The talent is clearly there, but you're always like, you know, just when it gets to the point, you stumble down a little bit, right? I mean, is it frustrating, or what's the feel like right now?
I feel like I've just made bad decisions. You know, the Jimmy Rivera fight was a bad decision. Like, I was not prepared for that fight. You know, obviously before I had all that heavy stuff going on in my personal life. I have a good performance against Brian Kelleher, and I should have taken time. I should have taken time mentally, physically to heal before jumping into a fight. And honestly, the only reason I took the fight was because I wanted the distraction. You know what I mean? I wanted something to take my mind off of the realities that were happening in my life. And so I fight Jimmy Rivera, and I kind of let my ego tell me that I can do this, you know. But Jimmy's not the guy that you fight on a week's notice. Jimmy's the guy that you know what I mean? You take months to prepare for, because you know, you don't just walk over Jimmy Rivera. I mean, many people have tried, and it's never worked out for him. I mean, if you look at his fight before him and I fought, I mean, he fought Peter Yan, and he's winning 14 minutes of that fight. You know, he's a tough dude, and you need to be prepared for fights like that. So, I mean, if I'm looking at my career, I'm looking at it as, you know, just mistakes I've made. Fighting Aljamain Sterling, my fourth UFC fight, you know, probably not the smartest thing. I should have fought Brian Caraway, beat him, and then maybe slowed my roll a little bit. But, you know, I just get so ahead of myself, and I'm just so convinced that, like it doesn't matter that you put anybody in front of me. But there's a level of experience, and like, these OGs have it, you know what I mean? They know, like, and now I guess with almost 10 UFC fights, I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to figure things out, you know what I mean? There's a lot more to this game than just saying yes to fights. I mean, it's got to be smart. You got to be a little bit more meticulous with the choices that you're making. You can't just, you know, rush in, you know, balls out, thinking that you're just Superman, because there are some bad dudes in this division, you know what I mean? There's a handful of guys that could kick anyone's ass on any given day. So, you know, you got to be smart, and if I'm being smart, there's absolutely no reason why I can't be the UFC champion, you know what I mean? Like, I have every tool that it takes to do it, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's just a huge hole in my game where, it's like, well, yeah, you know, his boxing's okay, but, you know, if we just stay at kicking range, he can't do anything. Like, I have the answer to all those questions. Like, I can beat anyone if you give me the opportunity to prepare. But it's like, I rush into these things, and I make bad decisions. But now, I'll never do it again. You know what I mean? I made the mistake, you know, and I'm wise to it. I'm not doing it again. I'm going to be smart about my career from here on out, and that is going to be the reason that, you know, I'll move forward.
That's awesome. Well, Saturday could be the first step in that direction, right? So what's the goal overall, man? I mean, is it just go in there and just get a win, whatever it takes, get back on the the right side of things, or is it you feel like you said it could be a highlight? Do you feel like you need to go in and make it a highlight?
I got to kill him. I got to absolutely kill him. Yeah, I think in my head, like, there's a million ways to beat him. I could walk out there, shoot one time, shoot a double leg, get on top of him, and I could just do that the entire time and just grind him out and make it nasty and make it ugly. No one would want to watch it. Everyone would be like, well, who's fighting next? I know that I can do that. Like, that's not a question. But I think when you get an opportunity like this, you need to capitalize on it. You need to be spectacular, and that's exactly what I plan to be. You know what I mean? I mean, I've got things that I do well that I've never even shown in the octagon. So I'm not planning on just beating Askar Askar. I'm planning on absolutely dismantling him. I mean, I don't think this guy's ever going to want to fight in the UFC again after Saturday night. It's getting hot up here.
Drop the mic right there, son.
Kick this fucking table over. I'm out of here, dude. Cool? All right, cool.
Thanks, Cody. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
With veins popping out my forehead as I'm saying that.
Awesome. Perfect. Oh, because we had probably one of the girls was good. Yeah, okay.
That's good. That was a little back to back to back. I was like, I'm getting in the weeds. I know. I'm good. We'll take it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Appreciate it.
They're really not.
I started to fall asleep. It's sinking down. It's like, not that anybody on the street cares about that. Is that? That works for me.
Roast beef.
Pepperoni?
Yeah, pepperoni is awesome.
Can you guys just take a look at their website and let me know what
Capistrano's.
Anything meat.
Oh, who do you want us to write it down?
I got it.
Yeah, it's in for me.
I'm a simple man. Do you have a glove?
Unfortunately, I left oh my God, at home.
I'd like to do the plastic.
That's got to be bare. Yeah, really.
You gotta have a strong vision. Not throwing that.
Should we write it down? That'd be easiest. Yep.
Roast beef.
Capistrano.
Yeah. Whatever their meaty roast beef thing is, that's good.
Or just a deli sandwich. Just trying to think of one heavy. Just a deli sandwich.
No, I have one. Are you gonna? You're sending her? Yeah, send her a capistrano for me.
What's it called?
Capistrano. Just like pastrami, but with capistrano. You got Disney Plus, right?
Mhm.
Have you watched any of the WandaVision yet?
The what?
WandaVision? Did you
No, what is that?
ever watch like the Avengers stuff?
Not really.
No. You might be a little bit lost at who the character is, but she's from the Marvel universe. Scarlet Witch. So she was like the one that magic in like the Avengers, like the game and the other stuff. But her and Vision, he's the guy that had the gem in his forehead.
Right.
Alien or whatever. Or actually was created by Stark and them or whatever.
Is it good?
I like it. I like it a lot. It's got a unique twist on it, but it's short. It's like 30
30 minute segments.
series. Yeah. I like it.
It's a whole series.
Yeah, there's only 4 episodes. I like it. I like it a lot. But I love that. I love that stuff.
I never really got into the Avengers and Vision and those guys. Like,
Did you watch the whole Avengers? Endgame and all that stuff?
yeah, but I read the comics. I just never really.
Yeah, I never read her story actually. But it's pretty dope though.
I read.
Not a lot of action. Spawn.
The New Mutants.
I think you like it. If you got it, it's worth checking out.
Silver Surfer.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, if you visit the Plus, I think it's worth checking out if you like that sort of thing.
What streaming service is it on?
Disney Plus.
I'll have to wait until I resubscribe when Mandalorian.
When Major. It's fun. We all do it.
I have it all the time because my kid watches a lot of it.
Yeah, I have it all the time too, but yeah, I used to do that with Game of Thrones when it came to.
I haven't been on HBO since Game of Thrones. I just watch a lot of cryptocurrency YouTube videos.
Good you.
Good Lord.
Baller.
My Ethereum's going on.
Good you.
You telling your employer to pay you in Bitcoin.
Breaking records, along with my COVID test. I gotta move on from politics. I gotta go somewhere.
Great. Now we're gonna hear your cryptocurrency theories.
Yeah, my crypto conspiracies.
Don't treat your wallet passcode like you treat your gear. Don't forget it.
Like you treat your wallet.
Like you treat your gear.
You know, I don't have a wallet. I guess my wallet's Gemini. I just subscribe to a trading platform.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's all on there, so I can day trade it or whatever I want. Because I'm not in it for the long term. Because the government's going to shut it down at some point. They're not going to let it. The government will get their own cryptocurrency. There's already legislation on that. When that happens, they're shut down. But for now, it's a great trade.
stick of what they're sort of doing or whatever. But yeah, the way that it's shot, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of that.
I bet they might actually shoot. I don't know. I could be wrong. I would think they almost shoot on film or they're shooting on something that actually emulated.
Do you remember that Dreams movie that I forget what the title was with Robin Williams, where it was very stylistic?
Oh, yeah, where his wife committed suicide and he was
Yeah, yeah. It kind of reminds me when I see all the colors and everything. It reminds me of that. But that was that Robin Williams was totally computer generated.
That was good. I forgot all about that. That was a good one. Super depressing. It was good.
Oh yeah. This is my entertainment. Depressing stuff. Did you guys lose your internet?
I think so. I mean, it's not strong.
Losing, yeah, in and out. Don't jinx that shit. Don't put that out in the universe. know why that struck me. The first thing I noticed was how
It made me laugh. I was like, what are you talking about?
how I saw it, because I was
Zooming in.
so close that all I saw was like whole. I was like, oh yeah.
That's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, is he pouring whole milk? I don't understand what's going on. That caught me by surprise. And then I finally figured it out, and I was like, I don't know if I should say something to keep this going or not.
It's fine. It was like one of those things that. But it's funny because as you brought up about how he didn't have to really worry about weight, I was like,
I started to
guarantee
throw in there like, oh, so that's how you get to have the whole milk.
I guarantee he wouldn't have if it was a normal,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I actually thought about that as he was talking about that.
That's kind of funny though. Normally I would never ever say anything, but he just seemed. You could tell he's in good spirits.
Yeah, for
That was
sure.
a really good interview. So I'm gonna leave because I thought that was kind of funny at the end. I'm gonna leave that end section.
Okay.
Like after
Because
you're
you're
done,
still-
where you
you're
were
still
like,
shooting.
drop the mic, and he was like, keep this. I'm not gonna see.
No, that was great.
Because it was good. It was fun a little bit.
I agree. stall. I gotta wait for Kenny to get back. He's like, I wonder if I have time to go to the bathroom. Like, as soon as he walked off, like, I saw the car driving up. I was like, ah! So, yeah. Dude, it was so funny. Like, as soon as you walked out there, like, I saw the car driving up. I was like, ah!
I was afraid of the lady because I was like trying to rush. I felt so bad. I was like, I'm so sorry.
Let me just silence my phone so my mom doesn't call me halfway through this interview. How are you guys doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good.
Good. Beneil, I know you're literally like the nicest human being on the face of the planet, but I got to ask you, what are your feelings towards Charles Oliveira right now?
Nah, I don't know. I don't really, man. I'm never gonna hate a fighter for wanting more for himself and trying to get more for himself. So it is what it is, you know. I'm over it. I'm just now looking to. I'm just looking forward to Saturday. Charles has been in with the company for so long. It's not like he doesn't deserve it. My frustrations was more over the fact that I jumped in short notice, didn't take a break, stayed in camp just in case he wanted to go back in and things like that. But I got better. I got better in the training. You know, the most important thing as far as my career goes is improving. The day I stop improving, I stop fighting, you know? So I'm over it. God bless him. Hopefully best for him. I hear possible title shot, something like that. Yeah, good for him. Great. I'll be seeing them all soon.
I like it. Was there any disappointment, I guess, that they couldn't find somebody else for you before now?
Yeah, kinda. Like, so I was August 7th I fought? I can't remember. And August 8th, I got a text message from Sean Shelby. My phone was being weird, so I didn't actually get the text till later on. But I got a text from Sean saying, like, hey, possibly fighting Charles. And Ali called me, my manager, and I said, yes, let's go, you know? So from August all the way to today, no vacations, no breaks. I've been just training, and it's been two-a-days and sprints and all that good stuff. So I would have liked to fight earlier, but I'm not complaining.
Yeah. At least you got a fight now, right? So the
Yeah.
chance of, what did you think? I mean, the rematch, I mean, it seemed kind of a weird fight to put together, but at the same time, you guys are both, you know, kind of climbing your way up.
So I think it makes sense in terms of seeing who's the best in the world. He's on a streak, I'm on a streak. I just thought it would make more sense a little bit further down the line. For example, there's guys who are like 1-1 in the top 5 or top 7, or 0-1 or 0-2, whatever. So why not let us have a turn with those guys, like for both Diego and myself? You know, we fight one of those guys. You know, rankings change or don't change, and then we fight each other, so maybe closer to the title. That made more sense to me, but again. One of the best guys in the world. I'm not looking past him. Right now, my whole career is about Carlos Diego.
Yeah. Does it feel like you guys are in similar positions? I mean, because I think like you two guys are probably like two of the most underappreciated guys in the division. You know, for what you've been able to establish in your career, and maybe not getting the respect that you deserve.
For sure. I'm going to speak on just Carlos. Think about it. He fought Rustam. Everybody's like, Rustam's the guy. Then he went and fought Merbek. They're like, no, Merbek's the guy. This is the guy, you know, who's going to stop these guys, you know? And then he beat them both, and he did it dominantly. It wasn't like, you know, maybe the Merbek fight was a little bit closer, but he dominated those fights. He had a great fight, and then they put Pettis in front of him, and he just walked through Pettis. He really did. Like, I don't even know if Pettis landed more than a couple of shots. Pettis had maybe 30 seconds of that fight. So, like, he's got to be feeling it. I know I'm feeling it, but being underappreciated by everybody is fine with me. I've kind of lived that way, and I'm a devout Christian. The idea is you fight for the audience of one. I have God-given talent, so I want to take that talent, multiply it, and give it back. That's how it should be as a Christian athlete. So that's where I'm at.
Is it ever hard for you to stay true to that? Because you see, like, man, maybe if I try to talk a little trash or something, you know?
I'm a hypocrite. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm a hypocrite, man. Because, like, I say that right now, but I've had so many thoughts of, like, I'm just gonna call this guy out and say this and this and this because I'm so pissed right now, or this and so, like, I'm telling you what I should be, but I'm also a hypocrite. I'm not perfect, man. I have that feeling all the time. There's times where when Charles pulled out and I kept seeing him call out Tony Ferguson, I was getting so frustrated. I was like, dude, you're saying you have this issue, but then you want to fight Tony. And, again, for me, it always goes back. Pick up your dang Bible and start reading it so you understand what you're made for, what your purpose is. And it's not to go after people because they didn't give you attention. That's not my purpose. I have a purpose. I have a God-given path, and that's what I want to be on. So that's where I'm at.
That's awesome. As far as the matchup itself, I mean, tactically, you guys have both changed quite a bit, I imagine. But is there any kind of like mental edge or something going in there against a guy you've fought before?
I feel like the mental edge would be for him because, like, this is an opportunity. This is a win-win situation for him, I think, but who knows? For me, I do not want to go 1-1. I mean it. Like, one of the biggest motivators, and sometimes I think it's a stupid motivator, but one of the biggest motivators, I don't want to be 1-1 with him. I want to make sure everybody knows I'm the most dominant guy. Like, this fight should have never been booked. I want Sean Shelby to be like, man, I screwed up. I shouldn't have booked this fight. This was a mismatch. That's how I want it to be. I want them to be like, crap, we just need to put this guy for the title. Like, everything is a mismatch. That's my mindset.
And you think you collect a bonus here and put it toward the social project? Is that the plan?
Listen, I'm not trying to go out there and be a bonus machine. I'm telling you guys this now. It's just happening. It really is. Like, earlier somebody asked me, like, oh, game plan, blah, blah, blah. I was like, dude, I'm a grappler. I am. I know I can strike. Yes, I can. But, like, grappling is my first instinct. And whether it's Diego, Charles, Habib, doesn't matter. You will see me engage in grappling. You will see me looking for the takedown. But for some reason, lately it's been like, all right, it's not working. Maybe try the hands. Oh, okay, it worked. Cool. It's been like that, but there's no secret to me. I'm as simple as they get. ABC. It starts with grappling for me.
Nice. Last thing for me. I mean, obviously, this is you're like you said, you're all focused on this. But do you have goals for this year? Like where you want to see your career be?
Okay, so a little bit tricky for me. I want to fight now. And my wife's pregnant. We're 19 weeks. I would say we're halfway. I think we're halfway. We're halfway there. So my baby comes in June. You won't see me for a while. I'm going to be spending some time with my daughter. So April or May is ideal. That's my goal. And as far as what I'm going to get or like the title shot, I could care less. I know Max Holloway had to go 10-0. He had to win 10 fights in a row to get it. So I'm not gonna sit here and complain. I've seen what other fighters have gone through. So I just don't like to make myself the victim. It's not a good mentality.
So you said April for the next fight, roughly, and then we won't see you fight again until next year.
I would like to fight 3 times this year. So I would like to go either late April, or mid-May. Yeah, mid-May. A little scary mid-May. And then maybe like end of the year. I would like to fight November or December. And this is all, man makes plans, but God lays down the foundation. God lays down the steps. So if God willing, it works out, cool. But if not, maybe I just fight 2 times this year or once this year. We'll see. I'm not too worried about it. The way I've been training, I have a feeling I'm going to fight a lot this year because, man, I didn't even have a break, and I enjoyed my not break, whatever that was. I enjoyed going straight from fighting Scott back into sprints, which was really weird. But right now I'm surrounded by so many good guys, and it just helps.
You said that you've been training constantly since basically August and doing two-a-days and whatnot. Are you worried about burnout?
That's what I was worried about. Yeah, I was genuinely worried about that. Like, it's a real thing, you know. I've had it before, but lately it's been the opposite, man. Lately it's been the opposite. I woke up doing two-a-days waiting for Charles, and I didn't get Charles, so everybody's like, oh, you must be bummed that you got Diego, the guy. I was like, no, I'm actually pretty, I don't know what it is, man, but I'm on fire, and I thank the Lord for it, you know. I can't wait to fight. It's weird because normally fight week, I'm cutting weight, my mouth is dry, I can barely speak, but today I'm feeling good. I can talk about it. I want to just fight. Like, I just want Saturday to come, and normally it's not like that for me. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not the kind of guy who's just like, oh, I'm not scared. I'm terrified. I'm terrified of every day when it comes to fight week because there's so much emotions in it. But for some reason, I'm still terrified, but I have an easier time overcoming that fear lately. So I'm just really, really excited for Saturday.
Are you more terrified about fighting or having a kid?
Shoot, I think my kid. I'm going to have a girl, you know, and they say girls with their daddy, they just take over. So she's going to be a daddy's girl, and I'm going to get wrapped around, you know. She's going to wrap me around her fingers or whatever they say. So I think that's my biggest fear. How do I keep my child disciplined, but at the same time, you know, make sure she knows she's loved.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you guys.
That was cute. That was a good answer. Maybe a warm and fuzzy, not a warm and fuzzy.
Oh, nice. I almost went with what's your God-given path, and then I just transitioned to the God. That's good.
Yeah, because I was wondering if that was this word.
Cory's here.
What's up, guys?
What's going on? Good. Cory, is this co-main event stuff boring to you now? I mean, after you've been the big dog, is it tough to settle back down the card a little bit?
Yeah. Is this what we do now? Guys get big wins, and now it's co-mains. It's good, man. Whatever. Frankie's a good opponent, and I'm excited about that.
Nice. Yeah. That last performance, so impressive. I mean, I guess first of all, just how big was that for you? Because I know you were frustrated what happened the time before. I mean, was that a big moment for you to go like, yeah, I'm still this good?
Yeah. It was it was kind of an FU, like kind of to that sad person after that last fight, myself. That FU to myself, where it's like, you got it, you can figure it out, and that's what I did.
Was there a key to it? I mean, not that you haven't had great performances before, but I mean, that was just like next level stuff. Was there something that you can point to is like, yep, this is what clicked?
Yeah, I practiced time and time again, getting into a intense space in my head where I could actually perform in a fist fight like really high level. I started, just really, really taking care of this thing. So every sparring session before, it was no matter what, like I didn't care. I didn't give myself any excuse, whether I was sick, tired, beat up from the week or whatever. I made myself get to a point where it didn't matter, and I practiced that over and over and over again. That way, in the future, when I am feeling flat going into a fight, it doesn't happen again.
Nice. You talk about the matchup with Frankie, and we kind of joke, co-main event. But does this feel like a big fight? I mean, I think everybody's kind of looking at it as a number one contender fight. He's certainly a legend of the sport. I mean, does this feel like a big moment for you?
Yeah, it's a big one. There's big implications behind it. The guy's a Hall of Famer. He has a ton of experience. I'm excited to face someone that's been doing so well for so long. And yeah, man, it feels like a big fight.
Yeah. Like I said, it seems like a #1 contender fight. Is there any party that's cheering for Aljamain Sterling a little bit? You know, I mean, is that like, would that be even sweeter to get a title fight and for it to be against Aljamain Sterling, or do you feel that might be tough to get that fight?
I don't have many opinions about that kind of stuff. I do want to fight Aljamain again, but I also equally want to fight Jan too. So, you know, whoever wins that one doesn't matter to me. I would love to fight either one of them. But yeah, getting the one back against Aljamain would be, you know, it would really, I think, settle some things in my mind too.
Yeah. When we think about Frankie, we think about a guy that's got endurance, that's got pace. Does the strategy change at all for the fact that this is a 3-round fight? Does you know, your pacing or how you approach the fight change?
Not really. I don't think in this sport you necessarily always get to control the pace of the fight, so you need to be ready for whatever that person wants to do that night. You know, it could get real. It could get real frantic, and you need to be ready for that. And I think that goes for 3 rounds and it goes for 5 rounds. I was prepping for 5 rounds all the way up until about 2 weeks ago, just because you know, all of this crazy stuff that's going on. I wanted to make sure that if they were like, hey, can you do 5 rounds, I could do 5 rounds. And so you know, so I'm ready for, you know, 3. God forbid something happens to Alistair or Volkov, you know, but 5 also. Don't tell Alistair.
If they came to you like tomorrow and they're like, hey man, we got to bump this up to 5 rounds, you're in?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I trained for. You know, they were kind of saying too that they wanted to move some stuff around because they wanted to make us a main event. They just, you know, they didn't fit into whatever. So I had that in the back of my mind for the entire 10 weeks.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, obviously when you play this thing out in your head, you're capable of doing spectacular things. At the same time, Frankie's been in some like drawn-out wars over his career, right? So what type of fight do you think we see on Saturday?
Yeah. I try not to be, you know, too negative, but also definitely not too positive either. I think you know, no matter how good you are, you walk into a fight and you think you're going to win. That's the #1 way to lose, I think. So I'm not being super positive in my head about it. I'm not being super negative either. I'm taking it for what it is, and you know, I trust my skills against Frankie. But I also know that, you know, Frankie's been in some wars. He's been through, you know, about everything that you can go through in this sport, and he's going to come ready to fight. I know he wants it probably just as bad as I want it, and that's to be taken really serious.
Not to dwell on hypotheticals, but they're fun to talk about.
Yeah, I win all hypotheticals too, so.
So if the main event did fall out, I mean, when you signed to be a co-main event, is there talks with the UFC about like, well, you got to be prepared for a possibility of a 5-round fight?
Kind of like I said, they, you know, they wanted us to be a main event, and they were maybe thinking of like if something fell out earlier, moving some main events around, and then me and Frankie popping into the main event. So that was my understanding, and I didn't want to get caught with my guard down. So I mean, I kept ready the whole time for 5 rounds.
So you've been training as a...
Yeah. Up until 2 weeks ago, only because the pace of a 3-round fight is a little bit different than a 5-round fight. So just making sure that, you know, I'm making the pace way up here for a 3-round fight, you know, because it's a little bit different.
Are there disadvantages for doing training in a way, a hybrid train for both?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to think about those. Yeah.
Just a couple. I want to touch back upon when you said when you came in and it was about the mindset. Are you working with a mental coach talking about the mentality, or is it just something that you figured out that you're like, I really need to focus on this? And is that something that you feel like you maybe have lacked in previous fights?
So I started using a sports psych about 5 years ago, I think after my first loss, 4 or 5 years ago. Because, you know, I'm not an arrogant guy, but I know where I stack up technically against everyone, you know, like, and I know that technically I beat everyone. I've been in the gym with some really big names, and I've done really well with some really big names, and but that ain't fighting. Fighting is doing it on the night that you're supposed to do it on, you know, getting hurt and still fighting past that. There's a lot of things that go into fighting past technicality, and I just, you know, needed to work on that. It's like the thing that I think, not that I was lacking, I think everyone kind of lacks it in their own way, but if you don't work on it, it doesn't get better. You know, like when I walked into the Aljamain Sterling fight, I didn't really recognize what was happening inside of me because I had never practiced that before. And then I practiced it, and then I was able to bring it out in Marais. Like that, you know, that's how things work. You practice things, and then you get better at them. You know, it's not magic.
And you kind of touched upon it right there. Is this something that you feel that maybe young fighters or fighters coming up, or even veterans, you know, do you think the mental focus part of it is one of the things that maybe gets set aside from all the physical stuff? You guys are going in drilling, you're working striking, you're working the grappling, but do you feel like the whole mental side of the game is something that maybe gets an afterthought, that maybe should be more on the forethought?
Yeah. There's mental road work too. You know, it's part of my routine now. You know, where I sit down, I do my visualizations, I do my journaling, I write down what I'm working on for that week. I write down at the end of the week what I did well, what I didn't do well, what I need to work on for the next week. That's all mental road work. You know, and I think it does get overlooked a little bit, but I think, you know, I hear all the time, oh, I'm the hardest worker in the room, this, that. It's like, maybe you are, but this is a big world, and there's a lot of people in the UFC, and everyone's working hard. Everyone's getting good coaching. So, like, what are you doing to separate yourself? And, like, for me, it's putting in that mental road work. And yeah, I don't think a lot of people do it because it's challenging, and it takes a lot of awareness to kind of figure out that you need that.
And I'm sure part of the last question, a lot of that visualization, you're setting goals for yourself for the future. So at the end of 2021, what do you visualize for yourself, and where do you see yourself?
Yeah. So before this week it's more of, you know, focusing on Saturday, that's it. But so to get to outside of that realm is a little bit, you know, different for me to think about. But when I'm coming up through these weeks, yeah, like that's on my mind. I want to win the belt in the summertime, and then I want to defend it at the end of the year. That's my goal for this year.
Thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
I know, we can too. Always feel free. I'll shoot it.
I'm just jealous of that you guys have two flags.
Right?
I mean,
Well, actually, he's got one, and I got one. That's why we got two. It'd be weird if I had two for myself.
Lunch is here?
even chips.
Lunch is here.
How many more guys do we got? Three?
Yeah, Guida, Overeem, and Askar.
Five-star rating.
So this is what our media days have come to, huh?
It'll get bigger. It'll get better. Brother, we're just happy to be in the same building.
About it.
We've been doing those computer ones up until this is the first one we've had since March, so
Well, glad to
it's
be
nice to
part of
actually see some people in person.
it. Got it. I don't actually have to pick up the microphones, do I? Okay.
They'll have to read this.
Clay, I think this is starting calendar year 15 for you in the UFC, man. I mean, to hear that, does that sound insane even to you, the 15 years in the top organization in the sport?
Absolutely, man. We're super blessed for our longevity in the sport and, you know, our health, our durability, the camps we've had, the fights we've put on, the opponents we've faced, all the fans, all the support, all the blessings that we've had. And like I always say, man, the best is yet to come.
That's amazing. Do you have anything you can credit your longevity to? Because it's not exactly like you have a fight-safe kind of style, you know?
Wrestling. It always comes back to wrestling. You know, starting on the mat when I was 6, 7 years old, and just that mentality, that mindset of never take no for an answer. Never say die. You know what I mean? As much as I get beat up in the practice room, you know, starting at 6 to now, I just turned 39 a month ago. I still get my butt kicked in there, but I still feel like I can compete at the highest level with these guys, with these young bucks. And man, if I can keep up with the guys at Team Alpha Male and Ultimate Fitness, I can keep up with with anybody in the UFC in the lightweight division.
Yeah, you talked about running with the young bucks, but here you get a fellow vet, right? I mean, you know, he's been around for I think 11 years in the UFC. So when they gave you this name, was that kind of exciting to fight another kind of OG that I'm sure you've seen, you know, over the years?
Absolutely, man. You name it. Michael Johnson and myself, we fought the who's who. He's fought some world champions. He's beaten some guys. He's fought guys that have been in the title shot, title picture. He's been in the title picture. So it was just a matter of time before we got in there together. And man, come Saturday, it's going to be fireworks. You got two guys. You know, he's an explosive, dynamic striker. He's got good footwork, speed, power, and we got a guy like me. We just we throw caution in the wind and we go out there, balls to the wall. So.
Yeah. Is it crazy that you guys haven't fought? I remember when they announced this, in my head I was like, surely they fought before at some point.
That's what everyone was saying too. They're like, didn't you guys fight before? How have you guys not ran into each other? It was just a matter of time before we crossed paths. And man, I can't wait till it gets till it's go time, till we do that walk.
Yeah. Is there anything kind of cool being on a card? You know, you got like Overeem, you got Frankie Edgar. You know, it's like, I don't know, it feels like all the OGs are coming together right now.
For sure. I feel like this is kind of an overlooked card, like the unspoken card. And you go down the list, and it's the who's who, man. So we're blessed to be on it. And, man, wherever we're at on the card, I know we're going to put on an exciting fight for everybody. And it's going to be outstanding.
What drives you at this point, man? You've been doing this for so long. Like, you've been around for so long. Like, what gets you into the gym on a daily basis and keeps you, chasing after this?
The thought that I get to compete at the highest level in the number one promotion in the world and in a sport that people never thought I was going to be able to compete in or find success in. You know, it's just been my love for sports at a young age and being a professional athlete. I remember, man, saying to myself when I was cutting the grass, we used to, have the old push mower. I used to cut, we had an acre, and I was like, man, there's something I'm going to be good at. I don't know what it is. I loved baseball. I was always on the all-star teams. Football, was always starting linebacker, and I would tackle the dudes even without the ball just because I loved to hit people, but I was always too small to, get that next level. And wrestling, I was never good at it, but I just was always, the starter. I knew there was something I was going to do. I said, one day I'm going to be on ESPN. I don't know what it's going to be and what it's going to be in, but, man, look at some here 15 years later in the UFC. I think I've been fighting professionally for 16 years. So it's just the love of competition, man. The adrenaline, that walkout, the fight, being around the camaraderie of your team, your coaches, the journey, the path. It's, man, it gets better every time. And like I said, to be able to have, our health and just keep doing this, on our terms. I love fighting on my terms. That's what drives me still.
Yeah, you said, hey, the best is yet to come. Have you started to think about the end, like how long you can keep doing this, like how long you want to keep doing it?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's one of those things, I don't put a ceiling on it. I don't put a number on it, I don't want to say, we signed a 4-fight deal. I don't want to say that's it, my 4 fights, or I want to stop fighting when I'm 40 or something like that, because I feel like a lot of times when people do put a number on when they want to be done competing, maybe they hit a ceiling before then. Maybe they don't really reach that number, you know what I mean? So I don't want to limit myself. And I'll be the first one to say, when I'm done having fun, I'm going to hang up the gloves, and I'm going to pick up a fishing rod, be on a fishing boat forever.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, on paper, this thing looked like there's going to be fireworks. I mean, bottom line, is that the way you see? Is this 15 minutes, fight of the night, crazy type stuff?
Without a doubt. That's what the fans expect. That's what they're going to get. And I know Michael Johnson's going to bring his A game. And we're both coming off a couple of tough losses, man, and we got a lot to prove in there. We want to let people know that we are still a force to be reckoned with. And come Saturday night, man, the world's going to find out that we still got a lot left in the gas tank.
Speaking of, being active and all the other things, looking back in like 2019, you were able to throw in some grappling bouts, as well as doing some of this. Is that something, one, how busy do you hope to be in 2021? And is that something that you want to do as well as get in and then fight in the cage? Are you hoping to get some grappling matches in there as well?
I tell you, that's a very funny question. It's a good question. That was my first time I ever grappled competitively, and figures it was against the multiple-time world champ, Roger Gracie. Gregor Gracie. I apologize. Went against him. So it was an honor to be able to take on a Gracie. It was just like I couldn't believe I was going out against them. And then the next one was against Renato Babalu Sobral, who's about as big as my brother, and everyone knows Big J. You know what I mean? So I'm surprised he didn't break like 6 of my ribs. So it was definitely a cool competition. I love doing stuff like that. I would love to be able to compete in some more grappling tournaments. I hope they have some more. I'm not sure how active they are right now, but that would be definitely something. That's always going to be something down the road. The jiu-jitsu game is something you don't lose. You know what I mean? Like wrestling, obviously I can't compete, in wrestling anymore, competitively, but jiu-jitsu, it's in our blood, man. It's just like, competition. We feed off of it. So definitely that's something I look forward to.
And I can see where as fighters, as you've been doing it over and over and over, it takes longer to recover after fights and all that sort of stuff. But looking at 2021, what's the number in your head that you're like, how many times you would like to see yourself competing? 3 times?
I want to get back on the horse again. I want to stay as active as I've ever been. And it's been a while, since I've been able to have 3 fights in a year. And that's what we did when we first got in the UFC. The first few years, man, we had 3 fights, throughout the years, throughout, each calendar year. And I would really, really love to see myself staying active and just keep fighting the best guys out there.
There was a video that the UFC released the other day. It was a little Twitter one. It was the highlights of you. Did you go and take a peek at that? And it showed you. It started right off the bat. It had a little teaser view and Diego Sanchez in there just throwing down in the middle. When you watch stuff like that, what do you think? Do you ever look at it and you're like, oh, I can't believe I did that, or is that like, man, that was awesome? I mean, when you watch stuff like that, your highlights over your career, what are your thoughts when you look back at those? I mean, because you're looking back with 20/20 vision. Oh, maybe I would have did this better. Maybe I would do this different. But when you watch those highlights, what goes through your heads?
Yeah, I really want to thank the UFC for putting on that collaboration, that video. It definitely raised a lot of buzz in the MMA world, and it sparked something to me again. People, they ask, when's that old school Carpenter coming back out again, the Hammer, you know what I mean? And he's always in here, you know what I mean? It's just a matter of time. We just got to push that button, land the gas pedal like we always do. So, what I would have done differently in that fight is not backed up to the cage immediately when Diego came rushing at me, and that was, I guess, the start of fight of the year that year. So, but yeah, there's definitely there's a lot left in this gas tank, man. We got a reserve tank set on full.
And lastly, you talk about afterwards you're going to do a lot of fishing, but are we also going to maybe see some coaching at Team Alpha Male? Is that something that you're hoping to maybe transition afterwards? Are we going to see Coach Guida in there helping to foster the next generation?
We got some of the best coaches in the world over there at Team Alpha Male right now. We got such a good stable of fighters. We get to learn from some of the best guys, starting with the general himself, Uriah Faber, and, going down the line, Danny Lascal Castillo, longtime UFC veteran, Coach Joey Rodriguez. They're in the building with us here today, and, Mikey Malott, Coach Chris Holdsworth. Andre Feely is becoming one of those guys who's just a student of the game, and he just passes on the knowledge so well. It's amazing to see him study and pass on while he's still highly, highly competitive. So coaching wrestling is one of my passions. I've been coaching for about a decade, in the youth and high school level. So I see that's, my sight's more, in a wrestling room, and I'll always be a fight fan, you know what I mean? But I love watching these young kids develop, in wrestling, and then see them go on to mixed martial arts. That's my passion.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
You've been in the game so long. Memories of Strikeforce, WEC. Remember, your brother used to come to the ring with you. One of the memories I have of you guys slapping you in the face and everything, and getting you all charged up. What kind of discussions do you have with your brother now about still being in the game after all this time?
Well, I can thank my brother for all the success I've had, in the sport. I can attest this to him because it all started, because of him. Way back in the day, he was started when I was working on a fishing boat out in Alaska. He was fighting at the Boot Scootin' Bingo Hall in Indiana for Chaz Bowling. You guys remember Chaz? And then Total Fight Challenge, Hook and Shoot. There's Ironheart Crown. We're talking the old school Midwest ones, you know what I mean? So he's the one that got our start with, Joey Gilbert and Gilbert Grappling. And so it's definitely, my brother started it off, man. And without him, I wouldn't be here today. And so we just got to look back now. We laugh at some of the stories we had, the travels. He's fought in Poland. He's fought in Finland. He fought all over the world. He fought Bobby Lashley. He fought Travis View multiple times, Jeremy Horn, you name it. I remember when he was on The Ultimate Fighter, in one of his interviews, he said he'd fight Chuck Liddell for $50 in a 30-pack of Old Style. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, what are you talking about, Jay? But that's just how he was, man. You know what I mean? That's where I think we get the nitty-gritty toughness from him and my old man, my dad. And just blue collar dudes going out there doing what they love, not for the money. Yeah, it's nice to make a living off of it and have financial freedom because of it. But we got into the sport because of wrestling. We got in the sport because we love to go out there and compete. We love to just get our hands on dudes and just throw them around. You know what I mean? So yeah, I owe it all to my brother, and he's on a plane right out here right now, and he's super pumped to be in Vegas and to see that his little brother is still able to compete at the highest level. And I love having him in my corner. And yeah, like I said, it all started with him and on a wrestling mat a long time ago.
And you said you have a lot left in the gas tank still. And so is it just, are you looking for the accolades of a belt, or is it just that competition that's driving you?
Yeah, you know what? It's a couple things, man. Yeah, the competition drives me more than anything, and there's a couple things I still want to accomplish. I want to be the dude in the lightweight division or in all the UFC that either has the most fights at the end of his career, the most UFC fights ever, and the most takedowns ever in the UFC. And I think right now we're in the top 5 list of takedowns. And to me, that means a lot, being a kid that never excelled in wrestling, you know what I mean, being from a junior college, and was always kind of right there a little bit. And I think there's a lot to be said for that sometimes hard work, outworks talent when talent doesn't work hard. So having a lot of takedowns in the UFC, having that record would be pretty cool for me.
But we'll be counting.
All right. You're going to get a few be counting again Saturday night then. Cool.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Hard work outworks talent, so talent doesn't work hard.
Do you still have the RV?
Yeah, it's down in Florida. Waiting for a nice road trip after this, man.
Where are you gonna go?
I think we went out the Keys. I've never been down there. I took a ferry down there, actually, a few years ago.
The Virgin Islands.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, fishing capital of the world.
You don't have to wear a mask.
See you, brother.
Thanks, Doug.
Welcome to the UFC, right? I mean,
Yes, sir.
Man, what's the feeling like right now? I mean, it's all happening so fast, right?
I mean, I was expecting this, you know what I mean? And I've been here before where I saw all this, so this isn't like caught me off guard. And, as a fighter, if you've been long enough, or if you've been seeing the game, and if you're a fan, you've seen all this, you see this on YouTube, you see this on the Instagrams, you know what I mean? You hear you asking the first question, so yeah, I'm excited about this. This is awesome.
That's awesome. You said you thought you'd be here, but you had a loss not that long ago. Did you think that was going to push back the schedule more than it did?
No, come on. It's my debut in UFC, and you hear UFC superstars talk about how losses don't matter. You got guys with 10 losses in the UFC that are still legends and superstars. Losses matter in this sport, of course, to teach you a lesson. But at the end of the day, it's about if you continue to train and continue to fight. If you come back the next day and say, listen, even though I made a mistake yesterday, I'm willing to correct that mistake today and move forward and get better,
Where were you when you got the call?
I was at home playing Call of Duty.
Nice.
I got the call. As soon as that happened, I turned on the sauna, hit a workout, got a little sweat in, and then went to the gym.
Nice. Did you have to get on a scale or anything before you said yes?
Listen, when they told me it was at 45, I was like, thank you. I didn't check my weight until fight week. Fight week I came, got on the scale downstairs. I was 153, 154, and I was like, let's go. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier to cut to 45 than it is to 35 normally.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, I mean, obviously you knew you were going to be here. So, I mean, had you been studying the division a little bit? I mean, did you know Cody and what his game was?
Yeah, I mean, I knew Cody before he was even in the UFC when he was local, because we're both from the Midwest. He was from Michigan, I was from Chicago. I seen him fight a few local dudes. I actually seen his first pro loss a long time ago when he was on a local circuit. So, and obviously I watched him in the UFC. I'm a fan. I watched when the first prelims start. I don't care who it is. I want to see fights. I watched the first one to the last. So I've seen his fights. I mean, he's a tough dude. He's number 13 or number 9 for a reason. So, yeah, I've been seeing his whole career, and he's a tough dude. I'm expecting a tough battle.
you know, we always hear about like the nerves and the octagon jitters and that sort of thing, but it seems like you've been mentally preparing for this moment for a long time. So, I mean, are you expecting to get that? Because I don't think it's something you can control, or do you feel like you're so ready, like it's not going to happen?
Listen, that doesn't matter to me. This stuff is all the extra stuff, you know what I mean? I love this. This is the cool stuff to do and take your mind off the fight. But the fight's the most important thing, you know? That's what I want to focus on. Me and him going to battle, performing, and putting skill sets out. I want to show the world what I can bring to the cage and my skill set that I've been working on for the last few years. You know, my boxing, my wrestling, my anti-wrestling, my jiu-jitsu even, everything. I want to show that I'm a well-rounded mixed martial artist.
Do you look? I mean, he's obviously an established veteran. I mean, and like you said, you mentioned the ranking. I mean, do you look at this as a no-lose situation? You know, hey, I'm coming in here on short notice. You know, this is kind of a freebie.
I mean, at the end of the day, no. It's like I heard that before. Obviously, no lose situation, but it's like, who wants to lose a fight? You know what I mean? Who wants to? Well, I'm gonna go let him punch me in the face and beat me? No, you know what I mean? I don't want to swear, but I'm not letting that man do that. You know, I want to see if he's gonna stop my game. I want to see if he can stop my skill set. Let's see that. You know what I mean? If he can stop me, I know there's a few dudes that got signed the last couple months. You know, Europeans and you know these guys from overseas where they come and they do their debut and then they, you know what I mean? They tap out in the second round, tap out, they sizzle out. No, me and this guy are going to war. You know what I mean? And if he could handle what I bring in, I'll be happy for it. And then I get more time spent in the cage, so I give him more experience.
Yeah, dig it. Last thing for me, I mean, what is the goal for yourself? What is the vision you have for yourself? I mean, do you feel like you can come in and make like an immediate impact, or is it a thing where, hey, I know I got a slow rise up the ranks? What's the plan?
I mean, listen, obviously the main objective is fighting in the cage and getting that experience. But if I beat number 9 and I get ranked next week, that'd be freaking sweet. You know what I mean? And then obviously my goal will be at the title. I'll be like, listen, if I'm number 9, let's do this. Let's keep moving forward. Let me get number 7, 6, 4, you know, and let's go for the belt. You know, that's the end goal at the end of the day. You don't come to the UFC just to compete with people and just to get on here and do the social media stuff. You do it so you get that title and you can change your life, change your family's life, you know, put a legacy down. And that's what my goal is. You know what I mean? To represent my gym, represent my home country, represent my family, and prove that I belong.
Solid
Awesome.
work. Well done.
Thank you,
sir.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Overeem.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, that guy.
Askar Askar. I just figured, like when he came in, I was like, uh-oh. stepping the game up, yeah.
You boys are better than that. Some nice refreshing water.
What do you got the old programs for?
Folder, I should.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I started saving them.
Back in the day.
When I used to get them out.
Yeah.
I started saving them because I was like, I was thinking about for when my kid is in school, like, you know, you always have that folders and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, that'd be cool, you know what I mean? But I actually like using them too, so like just to keep some of my notes and stuff in
I
it.
wish they, yeah.
I know.
It's funny how many boxes you get of this stuff. It's just,
Yeah. Ton.
yeah.
I know, every now and
Even
then-
just the press credentials stuff.
Yeah. And every now and then my wife's like, can you like get rid of some of this stuff? And I was like, no.
I have a box or two like full of my Pride ones.
Mm-hmm.
But they were shitty. They were these little just pieces of paper on. But it's still it's like I can't throw anything away.
It's like when we went to that, because I never got the Pride, but obviously I've been over to that time a couple times with UFC, and then the Bellator one, the Bellator Risen one last
They
time.
did one at Saitama?
Mm-hmm. And it was funny because they were like, hey, just give your credential back at the end of the night. I was like, no.
Dude, they were doing that way back.
I know.
And they,
I was like, what? I'm like, no.
they would write a number on yours that would be corresponding to your name. So in case you sold it on eBay.
They knew who it was?
It was so anal. It's like a stupid press pass, man. Who cares?
That's funny.
I would always just walk by them. I would stick it in my pocket. And they'd be so, they'd have the people at the door.
Yeah.
But
They won't say anything. As
No,
long as
they
you just
don't
keep
like-
walking, they
If you wear it here, then
Yeah.
they'll ask. But they don't like confrontation.
you just keep going. I learned that out, like, I came in, like, one of the first times I was there at the UFC, like, I rode in with the staff, because, like, we were staying, like, a long way away, you know? I didn't actually have my credential yet, because the credentials were at the arena. So they dropped me off, I had to just walk in. I realized, like, if you just walk by them, they won't say.
You know, that also works at the train station, so you don't have to pay.
Is that right? That's funny.
Yeah, they do not like confrontation.
Mm-mm. There's Overeem right there.
Did you get a poster, remember? Is he the last one?
Mm-hmm.
Did you remember when they had the first show back with, I think it was Pettis, was it Pettis?
Mm-hmm.
Honda? Did you get one of those posters?
Can't remember if I got one of those or not.
Because they had like tons of them.
I know.
Like I remember, I think Randy Harris like grabbed a whole like ream of them, basically.
That was when everybody was like on the paid junkie, dude. Like I was, cause we paid our way there, and then like one night I was like, why are there like 20 media people here?
They
I don't know if they pay for his, but they pay for a lot of people that time. I know. It was weird to me. Like I was like, why are all these people here?
Yeah, for a small show too, like that.
Right.
It was worth it for me because went to Thailand right after.
Well, Alistair, we know that you've been open to saying, hey, one final run. Is this surreal to say that? I mean, as long as you've been doing this, I mean, you're such a veteran of the game to think the end is coming near.
We all got to be realistic, right? We must all speak the truth and be realistic. No, listen, we got to be honest about the fact I'm turning 41. Beautiful age. It's a beautiful career. I enjoy it still very much. But, you know, you feel you're getting a little older, right? Been feeling it for a little bit now. And I don't know, do you want to become one of those fighters that just keeps going? And no, right? It's been wonderful. It is wonderful. But you gotta be honest. And it's been beautiful because I always kept that in the back of my mind. Even 15 years ago, I always kept in my mind, one day I will retire from fighting, and it will be a whole different world. It will be a big change, and I've been very fortunate enough to be able to drag it out this long, right? 24 years, because 97 was my first fight. Never really took a break or a hiatus, so all good.
I was going to ask, I mean, like, on the one hand, I mean, this is a very pressure-filled job and, you know, difficult. So I imagine you're like, hey, you know, great to leave all that stress behind. But will you miss it, or will you be happy that, okay, that phase of my life is done?
No, well, I love it, right? How else can you do it? I've been training 28 years, competing 24. I've often wondered how would it be if I would you know, not have all that adrenaline and the fights and building up to something. So that sure will be a big change, and we're gonna have to see. You know, I might have to pick up on my crazy hobbies, some parachute jumping or something to fill that void, or maybe I'll just do BJJ matches or something. You know, I'll stay active one way or another.
Certainly, you'll miss speaking with the media, right? All the interviews. I mean, that'll be the hardest part for you.
Well, would I miss that? Would I?
No, not at all.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right, so you got this matchup ahead of you on this run. Stylistically, I think was this one exciting for you, man? Another big, you know, striker like this. Like, I think this was like, I like getting ready for this kind of fight.
Well, everybody poses a threat in themselves, right? So Volkov is a unique threat. He's tall. He's got reach. I don't know. It excites me. It motivates me, right? Gets the brain cracking, and I have to say camp was good. So everything is in line. Everything is in order. Yeah, so that's what motivates me, right? The new challenge, the puzzle of Volkov.
Is it more exciting, though, to not, like, think, like, I mean, maybe he will come out and try to wrestle you for 25 minutes, but I can't imagine. I mean, is it nice to know, like, hey, we're probably going to get to go out there and strike a little bit?
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Definitely.
Big fights in the heavyweight division right now, right? I mean, there's a lot of big fights lined up, and I know you feel like you're right there on this one final run. I mean, do you think you can go in there and make a statement enough that you would be next for the title?
Well, we're going to have to see, right? It takes two to tango, but a win definitely inches me closer, and an impressive win will inch me the more closer, right? So we'll see. It's all about winning, beating Volkov.
Are you worried at all about, you know, John Jones moving up here? I mean, obviously what he's accomplished and you know, his legacy, he probably could walk right into a title shot. Would that be frustrating, though, for you, knowing that you're kind of up against the clock to let him come in and maybe steal a spot from you?
Well, we're going to see what happens, right? Francis Stipe is happening finally. So we'll see. I'm excited about John coming up to heavyweight, right? Everybody is, I guess. So let's just focus on Volkov and then let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on Francis and Stipe and how that fight plays out? I mean, we've seen it once, but it seems like Francis is kind of re-energized or refocused or something. Do you have any thoughts on how that one plays out?
I would inch a little bit more towards Stipe because he beat him already, he felt him already. But yeah, fight can go either way, right? Both are tremendous, strong fighters.
We know you're on this one final run. I mean, what if the UFC keeps making you fight again and making you fight again and making you fight again? I mean, is there ultimately like a number of fights that you feel like your body has left before you have to say, I don't know what I got to do. I got to walk away now?
No, I'm taking it anyways, fight by fight, right? Could be that I'm fed up already after this fight, but we'll see. We'll see. The most important thing is I'm enjoying myself, and I still feel the criteria there, the fire is there. So as long as that is there, and the team has also been awesome, Team Elevation, the guys over there. So as long as everything is going, we're gonna go. Nice. And if something stops or stuff happens, we're gonna have to reevaluate. And always honest, always open.
We don't know what the world is going to be like, you know what I mean? But would there be any sadness or frustration if your final fight had to be in front of no fans? Would that feel like it left something missing?
Well, to be honest, I kind of like no fans, less stress. But if there's fans, I would have to get used to fans again, right? So maybe that would make it a little bit more exciting. No, but it's all good. We'll see.
It's funny. Because I think about you as one of the most calm fighters in there anyway. You always just have this kind of a relaxed persona about you. But I did wonder if no fans was even more relaxing to you, or if you even notice it. You know what I mean?
More relaxing. It's definitely more relaxing. There's less going on, right? Less energy. It's kind of like sparring. Yeah. I like the spar though.
Last thing for me, I mean, obviously this is a big fight. What kind of fight are you envisioning? I mean, do you think this? I mean, you two guys are big guys with knockouts on your record. I mean, do you think we see something happen pretty quick, or do you feel like this might be drawn out a little bit?
I don't know. It depends a little bit on what Volkov is going to bring. Could be long, could be short, could be whatever. Right? That's the funny thing about Saturday. You don't know what's going to happen, right? It's the unpredictability. So I think I'm ready for everything what he can bring, and it's going to be nice. Boom. Yes. Hey guys.
It was a good ending of